So let's start our Let's Talk Bullying event. Young-hee, お願いします。
それではいじめに関してのレッツトークイベントを始めたいと思います。
Okay, so first I want to do a little check-in and see how some of the people who have joined us today are feeling. Does anyone want to unmute themselves and share a little bit about how they're feeling today? How is your quarter break going?
始める前に少しだけチェックインとか、皆さんの今日の気分とか、クォーターブレイクがどうだったとかについてちょっとお話を聞きたいと思いますが、誰かミュートを外して自分のクォーターブレイクについてとか、今日の気分についてとか、お話ししてくださる方いますか？
So you guys can, okay, in the comments, you can also, in the chat, you can also type down how you're feeling. But I want to pick one person to maybe share with us for around 1 minute. So, Annie says she's cold. Awad says it passed too fast, right? It doesn't feel like quarter break happened at all. Okay. Please unmute yourself and share a little bit about how you're feeling today, Sakura.
Hello, everybody. Today, actually, my day just began because it's 6 a.m. over here. And then I had to take classes at night. So I'm still getting used to this whole opposite, time zone thing. So I'm a bit tired, a little sleepy, but, I'll have to get over it. So yeah, that's how I'm feeling today, I guess.
Thank you so much for sharing. Oh my God, it sounds like you're in a different part of the world. And it's quite an early hour. So, please drink warm water to stay awake during this time. And thank you for taking the time to join us for this event today as well. Okay, so let me read just some more comments in the chat quickly. So, yeah, even though the time is tough, it's a chance we can see to develop a healthy lifestyle. And Rohini is there like, it went too fast. I can't even keep track of the dates. And Professor Peter shared that it went too fast and that he agrees. It's like, what kind of break was this? I also agree as well. I really think it was very short. Okay, thank you so much for your comments in the chat. So now I'm going to introduce a little bit about MeWe before we get into the event. So, Young-hee, お願いします。
たくさんのコメントありがとうございます。クォーターブレイク、本当に早く過ぎてしまいましたね。それでは、ちょっとイベントを始める前に少しだけ私たちミウィについて説明させていただきたいと思います。
Okay, so let's first introduce what is MeWe. MeWe is an organization that supports mental health and well-being of APU students. And we do this through providing mental health support using digital content. We also have events like the Let's Talk event, and then we have the MeWe Buddies consultations. We aim to share information and knowledge from a personal level to a community level. So me and we. Hi, Young-hee, お願いします。
私たちは APU 生のメンタルヘルスとメンタルウェルビングをサポートするために活動している団体で、デジタルコンテンツ、例えばインスタグラムのストーリーとか投稿、またはこのレッツトークイベントのようなイベント、あと相談会などを通じてメンタルヘルスをサポートしようとしています。また、メンタルヘルスに対する情報や知識を個人的なレベル、つまり私からコミュニティ、つまり私たち We のレベルにわたってシェアしたいと思っています。
Thank you, Young-hee. So, we are going to be moving on to talking a little bit about today's topic, which is bullying. And the real question of this topic is, do you even recognize bullying? Young-hee, お願いします。
それでは今日のトピックであるいじめ、ブーリングについて少しお話ししたいと思います。で、ここで質問なんですが、いじめを認識することってできますか？
Okay, so first I'm going to go through a little bit of today's agenda so you guys can know how this event is going to be run. So the first part we're going to be looking at is what is bullying and different types of bullying. And then we're going to move into a breakout room discussion where we will share a little bit of our thoughts on why people bully, the effects of bullying on the victim or our personal experiences. And the third part is going to be, we're going to have a big group discussion in the main room where we're going to look at a case study about bullying and discuss a little bit about that. And finally, we'll move on to what we can do if we see someone getting bullied and how we can defend ourselves. Young-hee, お願いします。
それでは今日の流れとしては、最初にいじめとは何か、いじめのタイプと種類について少しお話ししたいと思います。次にブレイクアウトルームに入ってもらって、それぞれのグループでいじめの影響についてとかについて少しディスカッションしてもらいます。その後メインルームに戻ってきてもらって、それぞれのブレイクアウトルームでお話ししていただいた内容とか意見などをシェアしてもらいます。それで最後には、どうやっていじめから自分や他人を守ることができるのか、避けることができるのかについて少しお話ししたいと思います。
So, right before we move to discussing the main topic, we would kind of like to introduce our guest, I can say participant for today, our very special guest participant, Professor Peter Rue. Welcome. Thank you so much for joining us. And so I would like to ask the professor to unmute and please introduce himself a bit, and then also share with us a little bit about, what you're going to be doing in today's session, or, just any of your thoughts. Yonghyun, onegaishimasu.
皆さんすでにご存知だと思いますが、今日は特別ゲストとしてピーター教授が参加してくださいます。
Thank you very much, everyone. Hi, it's good to be here. Thanks for the invitation to be a discussant participant in this group. I think you guys are doing a really nice, beautiful service for APU community. So congratulations on people who got this together. I am currently working at the Educational Development and Learning Center here in APU. And this is a small group of people actually that is working kind of in the background of APU's inner workings. So you see us teaching, but we're all doing all kinds of different jobs trying to support educational development of students, but also supporting faculty. One of the things we do is academic advising. And in case you haven't heard of it before, this is the link to the APU website for academic advising. It's a free service that's offered by us and that you can sign up for in case you feel a little bit disorientated with your studies, or you feel like you've lost a bit of track with yourself or with life's events. Please come and say hello to us.
ピーター教授では、学校にあるコンフェレンスでこの学生の方々のこのメンタルヘルスについて最近どういう気持ちなのかなっていうことを聞いたりするところの教授たちのやってるシステムがあるよっていうのを知ってるみんなさんに知ってもらいたいのと、あとこちらの今日のイベントに来てくれたみんなにyes EDLCE っていう APU の場所があるんですけど、MeWe がちょっとやってることとちょっと似てて、でもこれはピーター教授がやってたことで、今日この、いじめについてこういう皆さん集まってくれてることは、このAPU のコミュニティを良くしていくために素晴らしい一つの一歩だと思うので、皆さん今日来てくれてありがとうございます。
So thank you. I'm also teaching a little bit in these courses. As you can see, SSIW, MCW, and peer leader training, introduction to peer leader training, and various other programs being offered at APU. My background is in clinical psychology, and that was my first career. I'm born and grew up and educated in South Africa. I worked in Cape Town, South Africa as a clinical psychologist for about a little bit more than 10 years before I moved to Japan. And I moved to Japan about 16 years ago. I've worked in various universities here in Japan, but also in the school system, junior high, elementary, and high school a little bit. I think as a psychologist, I worked quite a bit with student issues as I do now. This is a very transitional age to be in, age 18, 19, 20, up to about 24. It's a long transitional period of life, and many things change and many things surface and happen, and there are many choices to be made. I worked in that area before, but also with families and with children and with all kinds of issues. I still maintain an interest, even though in psychology, even though I've moved more to educational point of view. I'm working in university, but I am passionate about people and especially about the potential that people have. That's something that I feel very excited about. So thank you. I'm very happy to be here.
ピーター教授はもともと南アフリカ出身の方で、日本に来てから16年経ちましたが、16年経つ前に、10年ほど心理学者として、活動していて、で、日本に来て16年の間に大学の教授だけじゃなく、小学校、中学校、高校の先生、もっと教育の場でお仕事をしてたこともありまして、なんで、その教育の場に立ち会われたいというと、18歳から24歳の間は、この人間の発達するときにとても大切な時期で、その18歳から24歳の間に、やっぱり、いろんなことが起きるから、サポートが必要、心理学者からの視線としてサポートなどが必要なのかなと思われて、この心理学者としては今はあまり活動はできていませんが、人にとても興味があって、特にその18歳、24歳の発達している状態の方々の人間性とかにも興味があるので、心理学者としてのバックグラウンドを持ちながら勉強をしていくことが今はとても楽しいそうです。
Thank you so much, Sakura and Professor, for, Sakura for translating and Professor for sharing a little bit about your background. And welcome, Professor. Thank you for joining us today. So now I'm going to move on to explaining a little bit about the ground rules during this discussion session and during this, event. So the first one is, please make sure to respect every other person's opinions. Whatever anyone shares, please remember that their opinion has a right to be heard and that you should respect it no matter what, even if you disagree with it. The second one is, please participate at your own pace. Whenever you feel comfortable or feel ready to share, please do so. And the last one is, we really want to maintain privacy because we're talking about very sensitive topics. So for that reason, please make sure to remember that what we discuss here stays here. Young-hee, onegaishimasu.
ピーター教授と桜ちゃんありがとうございます。次に、このイベントの中でのグラウンドルールについて説明したいと思います。一つ目は、他の人の意見を尊重しましょう。誰がどの意見を言っても、それが何であれ、それが尊重される権利を持っていることを覚えておいてください。レッツトークイベントはみんなの意見を聞いて話し合う場なので、他人の意見を尊重して受け入れて、あ、そうなんですね。私はこう思いますっていうオープンマインド的な感じで進めてってください。2つ目は、ゆっくりでいいので自分のペースで参加しましょう。すぐ考えがまとまらないからって焦ることなく、慌てることなく、何か思いついたらその時で大丈夫なので、ぜひ自分のペースで参加してみてください。最後、ここで起きたことはここだけで留めるようにしてください。どういうことかというと、ここで聞いた他人の話、経験談とか意見とかをここ以外のところで話すことのないようにしてください。お願いします。
Thank you, Young-hee. Next slide, please. So now we're going to discuss a little bit about the topic of today, and we want you guys to help us by sharing your answers in chat. So please use the chat function to answer this question. What is bullying?
それでは早速、今日のトピックであるいじめについてお話ししたいと思いますが、これは皆さんの助けが必要で、チャットにこのいじめとは何かについて書き込んでみてください。
Please start sharing your answers in chat and we'll read them out. Okay. So Annie said, putting harm on someone else. Makarim said, forcing someone into doing something they don't wish to do. Purposefully making someone else uncomfortable, regardless of their feelings. Physically or mentally abusive behavior. Let's see. Physically or mentally aggressive behavior towards someone. Putting your own dissatisfaction about yourself to others. Ooh, that's a very good point. Mentally and physically and verbally harming someone. Hurting feelings by words. Insulting others in an indirect or direct way. Oh, wow. You guys have a lot of good ideas on what bullying could be. Okay. Bullying is a treatment that makes other people uncomfortable. So now let's look at the definition, now that you guys have had an opportunity to share a little bit about what you think it is. So I think some of you guys were definitely correct. So bullying is usually defined as repeated aggressive behavior, where you have the intention to harm someone. And this can be done through using violence or hurtful words or ganging up on someone to make another person feel helpless. And this can be done face to face or through the internet. ヨンヒお願いします。
たくさんのコメントありがとうございます。皆さん多分正解当てられたと思いますが、それではいじめの定義について見てみると、いじめは普通他人を傷つける意図を伴う攻撃的な行動として定義されます。他の人が無力感を感じさせるために暴力を使ったり、傷つけるようなことを言ったり、集団で団結することを含めます。直接会ってする対面ではもちろんインターネットを通じて起きることもありえます。
So bullying usually doesn't come in one form. Bullying can be found in many different forms, such as physical bullying, verbal bullying, emotional, sexual, online, and indirect. A good example of online or cyberbullying, for example, is, when you guys like to maybe make comments on YouTube posts or Twitter posts or Instagram posts, and sometimes some people will not make the most positive comments. They can be body shaming comments, or they can be comments maybe in response to someone's post saying, oh, is what you said real, or just saying something negative, name calling, and things like those. So I can say, for example, that is a good example of online bullying.
いじめというのは決して一つの形で現れるものではありません。例えば、フィジカル、物理的ないじめ、言葉を通じてのいじめ、感情的、またはセクシュアルのいじめ、オンラインやサイバーでのいじめ、間接的ないじめなどいろんな種類のいじめがあります。さっきサリーちゃんが言ってくれたオンラインとかサイバーでのいじめの例えとしては、インスタグラムや YouTube などで人の否定的なことを投稿したり、すごい嫌なことをチャットで送ったりとかすることです。
Now we want to have a small activity where you guys have a discussion a little bit about what bullying is and to answer more of these questions that we've listed for you guys on the slide. And when you're going to be writing down your responses, we want you to use a website called Padlet. So as you guys can see, the link has been sent in chat, and the breakout room discussion will only be 10 minutes, not 15 minutes. So now I'm going to give you guys, thank you, Annie. So this is a small demonstration of how you can use Padlet. Once you open the link, you will go to the plus sign, which is under your group, and you'll double click on it. And you will write down the subject, which is the question of your choice. So you don't have to answer all the questions. You can answer whichever one you choose to answer within your group, or you can answer all of them. For example, why do people bully? And then you can type in your answer below. And then after that, you can change the color and publish your comment. So that is how it works.
それでは今からブレイクアウトルームに入ってもらいたいと思います。ブレイクアウトルームは10分間で4人から5人の人が1つのルームに入ることになります。さっきのパワポに載せられてた質問たちがディスカッションしてもらう内容でございます。ディスカッションする際にはこのパドレットを使ってもらうのですが、使い方としては自分のグループの番号の下にあるプラスボタンを押したらさっきみたいにコメントみたいなのが出るんですけど、そこにさっきの質問をサブジェクト、タイトルとして書いてもらって、その下に自分の答えを書いて色を変えたりとかもできるので、そうやって使ってもらいます。
Okay, so now that you guys have, been able to get a little bit of an explanation, we want you guys to join your assigned breakout rooms. So, yoroshiku onegaishimasu. Please join. See you guys in a bit. So from Group one said that people bully because they feel threatened or scared, out of control, or they don't know something, or they have not learned a better way of maybe relating with other people. And sometimes they said that it can be fun to pick on weaker people. That is why people bully, especially when no one holds you accountable for your actions, which is a very good point. And when you have nothing better to do with your time. That's a very good point. And I think that the reason why people bully is for all these reasons and, more as well. And so you guys have shared some very important points as well.
どうしていじめをするのかに対してグループ1の人たちの答えを見たんですけど、なんか恐ろしい、怖いからとか、なんかそれが楽しいから面白いからとか。
Now we can move on to looking at the second question. Do you think it's easier to say mean things online? And why is it easier? So Group 2 actually took the initiative to first answer this question. So thank you so much. And from Group 2's answers, they said that people tend to over-abuse the anonymity that comes with being online. And people think that it is less harmful. I think that's very true when you are making comments online, because the person doesn't know who you are. It's easier for you to make hurtful comments because someone will not make you take responsibility for it, which is similar to what Group 1 mentioned in their answer to the first question. And also, they do think it is less harmful when you don't know the person, personally, who you're making comments to online. It is easier to make maybe slightly more harsher comments towards them, I would say, because you're not going to see how it will affect them.
オンライン上だと匿名でコメントできるから嫌なコメントとか意地悪なコメントがしやすくなるのと、こう対面顔に向かって言わないからそれまで傷つかないだろうとか思ったりしてるする人もいる。で、グループ2に書いてあります。
Thank you so much, Sakura. Okay, so moving on to the last question, which relates to the next topic we're going to be looking at is, do adults get bullied? Which Group 3 actually answered first. So I really appreciate the way you guys have done this. It's very in order of answering the questions. And so the question of, do adults get bullied? The Group 3 responded by saying that they are expected to be tough and independent, and that they're expected not to rely on other people, but instead rely on themselves. They are vulnerable because of this, and they are easier to target when we want to bully them without any consequences, because they will have no one to hold accountable. They're expected to deal with these things and not rely on anyone else. And bullying kids, however, has a lot of consequences, but adults not so much. That was from Sakura. And maybe I can look at one more comment, which is from Jasmine, saying that some people in workplaces especially get bullied as adults. And there's also discriminations between the different types of jobs that someone can be doing as an adult. For example, superiors can take advantage of their positions and bully their workers. And because their workers cannot report due to fear that they might lose their job, they can't hold their superiors accountable.
大人はいじめられるのかっていう質問で、3人のメンバーが答えてくれました。1つ目は、大人はやっぱりこう自立して強くなきゃいけないっていうので、こう人に頼っていいっていう、なんて言うんだろう、頼っていいんだよっていうの分かってないとか教えられてない人たちが多くて、でその頼れる人がいないからこういじめる人たちからするとすごいやりやすいターゲットになってしまう。まあ子供をいじめるとしたらこうその子の親とか学校とかそういうところから多分こうちょっと問題になってくると思うけど、大人はやっぱり一人自立してる人間だからこういじめしやすいっていうのと、あと最後にやっぱり大人はこうやっぱお仕事してるからこう職場でのいじめがあるんじゃないかっていうので、まあ一つの例としてね、この上司がこの働いてる人たちをいじめるっていうので、やっぱりその働いてる人たちからするとこうお仕事ねなくなってほしくないから、もしいじめられたとしてもあんまり何も言えないっていうのがあるよねっていう話がありました。
Okay, so now we want to move on to talk a little bit about a case study that relates to bullying in adults. So have you guys ever heard of APU Course Review? APU Course Review is a place, a Facebook group to be specific, where students post comments asking for recommendations on what classes to take or what other students think of a professor. Usually students respond to these comments about the professor, right? And if they like the professor, they will make kind comments. However, usually if students don't like the professor, they may make some negative comments, such as the professor is boring. So we would like to ask you guys to consider, have you ever thought about these comments on APU Course Review as bullying? And have you ever experienced seeing, these uncomfortable comments, these comments that make you question, is it right to write that about a professor? And have you ever thought how the professors would react or feel if they saw these comments? So what we want you guys to do is make some comments in chat discussing this issue. Please try and answer these questions in chat as we are having the discussion and, while we are trying to ask the professors to share a little bit about what he thinks on this topic as well. Young-hee, onegaishimasu.
次に、さっきの大人のいじめについてのケーススタディなんですけど、皆さん APU コースレビューっていう Facebook のコミュニティはご存知ですか？ここではその名の通り APU のコース、授業のレビューをします。例えば、この授業面白いよとか、この授業はちょっと厳しいよとか、この教授は面白くないよみたいな情報っていうか自分の意見を共有し合うコミュニティなんですけど、ここでなんですが、皆さんこの APU コースレビューをいじめだと思ったことはありませんか？この APU コースレビューでなんか嫌なコメントとか、なんか見たくないコメントとかを見たことはありませんか？このコメントとかをこの教授とかが見たときにどういう反応をするかとか考えたことはありますか？で、これに対しての意見をチャットに書いてくださると嬉しいです。これについてはピーター教授にも聞きたいと思います。
Hi. So I just want to make a quick comment before we invite the professor to share a little bit about, what he thinks about this topic. So please don't feel scared to write your comments in chat. Even though the professor is here, I'm pretty sure he would love to get to know the perspective you guys have on this issue as well, and whether you guys consider it bullying or not, and or just general perspectives related to today's topic and this case study. Professor, I would now like to invite you to share a little bit about what you think about this topic. So the floor is yours. Thank you.
Thank you. First of all, I think this is great that you're asking these questions, and I also think it's great that such a forum exists that was created by students to talk about classes and to review them. I know about this existence of this, so this isn't news to me, but it's important for people to have a voice and to feel that they have a voice. Bullying happens in darkness and in secrecy. Sometimes we see the public end of it and it's ugly, but if you think you see the ugly part, please realize that the bigger part of the bullying and the sadness is hidden. Many people carry this throughout their lives. It happened a long time before, or it's still happening and they are only sharing a little of what they're experiencing. So, but we can go into that maybe another point if we have time. But coming back to this case example, I posted the question there, can we consider it bullying if the professors don't know about it? Would they feel bullied if they saw it? So I think, and I always encourage the students and TAs who might be involved, whoever might be involved, to approach the person directly, to confront the issue or issues when and as they happen, instead of going somewhere else with it. If you feel you have to go somewhere else, it means that there's already some kind of breakdown in communication. So it's really good that there's a course review platform in existence, but one has to be careful about what you use it for. If you can, stick to the review and not the person, then that might be an important distinction. So it's like, I like this comment, the last one, it's bullying, talking behind someone's back is bullying because that causes rumors and rumors can spread. Yeah, and it can be damaging to someone's reputation. It will be hurtful if they find out, that those issues are there for sure. So, but the point really here, I think, is to when and where should we draw that line? If there is unhappiness with someone's course, or the way that it's being presented, where do students feel they can take this? Can they take it somewhere that it will be looked at and taken care of? And if so, where would that be? If not, what do we need as professors or as APU or as a student body of APU? What do we need to create or put into place so that this doesn't happen? So those are important questions I think we need to ask ourselves.
私たちから、聞いた質問もあるんですが、教授が聞きたい質問は、もしその人がその投稿を見なければ、それはいじめじゃないのかっていう質問なんですけど、それは人それぞれ答えがあると思うんですけど、やっぱりコメント欄に書いてあるように、なんて言うんだろう、それを使えたっていう人もいれば、傷ついたっていう人もいるので、私たちからの視点もあれば、この投稿の内容に書かれてる人の、気持ちとかもあるので、そういうところを考えながら、今回のこのディスカッションにこう話していけたらと思うんですけど、この先生のこの教授の質問に対して皆さん答えたいとか言いたいことはありますか？
Okay, thank you so much, Sakura. And thank you so much, Professor, for sharing your thoughts. I think it's something that we all need to hear from a professor's perspective, because usually whenever we discuss this issue, it's very much student biased, I can say. And, you made some very good points that I can see a lot in the comments, people are agreeing with in terms of that, it's good to have freedom of speech, and students should be able to express their opinions, about what they think about the courses and the content of the courses. However, where do you draw the line? Where does it cross the line, when you're making some of these comments? I'm really happy that we can be able to, have an opportunity to discuss this today. I would also like to go through some comments in chat as well that I found that were very important. Someone said, Najmi said that some people made really instructive criticisms and reviews, and some others wrote mean comments about their bad experiences, right? And this is kind of what we've observed. I would say Farrell said that in his opinion, that it's good to be honest. However, sometimes the professors can be hurt by reading the comments, and we should think about how the professors will feel before posting. So Professor, I would like to ask you, have you had any opportunity to experience this kind of thing where you've been able to read some of the comments, or have you ever experienced anything in terms of this situation, I would say?
Do you mean in terms of people saying bad things about me, or like?
Oh, I'm sorry. I just mean I'm reading the course review comments by any chance.
Oh,
even though I know, yes, even though I know professors may not be part of the group. Thank you.
I haven't read this review, this website, because I can't access it. But I always read the comments on my course reviews, the ones that are formally published, because students have the opportunity to do so. And what I always build into my courses are, almost every class, I ask for reviews or reflections on class material, content, etc., from students. So personally, I love to have a conversation with my students that is about learning and about their learning, about our learning. So that I don't think I've personally had that experience, because I try to encourage conversation.
Okay, I think that's something really positive to hear. Thank you so much for sharing that, Professor. And I hope that, when we discuss this, you guys, the students become more conscious, that, as much as maybe not all professors may have the access to reading it, it's just like, mentioned earlier that sometimes there could be a case, one or two cases where the professors do read it, but even just for your own individual values, practicing to be conscious of someone else's emotions or others' perceptions, like the professor mentioned, reputation of someone else, so then you don't cause them harm unintentionally with saying words that are not useful or helpful to them. And there's a lot of other really good comments in the chat. Please take some time to read through them. And we would like to move on to discussing the last part of this training. So the last part is what you can do when you get bullied. So there's 4 things that we think as MeWe you guys can do in case you get bullied. 4 steps or options that you have. So the first one is always make sure to talk to people that you can depend on and trust. Please make sure to consult with the university's harassment counseling service or a counselor in APU. There's also call centers available to discuss issues related to minor or extreme bullying cases. And also the MeWe Buddies have a consultation service that they run almost every month to allow you guys to have an opportunity to come and talk about these issues.
いじめをされたときに何ができるかについて話したいと思います。一つ目が信頼できる人に話すことです。あなたの家族や友人、先生など信頼できるような人に話してみてください。彼らはきっとあなたの味方になってくれるはずです。2つ目は APU のハラスメントカウンセリングサービス、または APU のカウンセラーに相談することです。大学のカウンセリングっていうとちょっとなーって拒否感を感じる方がいらっしゃるかもしれないですけど、優しいカウンセラーさんたちが温かく迎え入れてくれるので安心して行ってみてください。3つ目がコールセンターに電話してみることです。コールセンターの方たちもまた私たちを助けるために、また力になってくれるために一生懸命考えてくださるはずなので、一回電話してみてください。最後にこの APU MeWe Buddies のコンサルティングに来て相談するっていうことです。私とここにいるサロメちゃんを含めて4人の MeWe Buddies メンバーがただいま相談会を開いています。ほぼ毎月やっているので、いつでも気軽に相談しに来てみてください。しっかりとお話を聞いて力になれるように頑張りますので、ぜひ一度は APU MeWe Buddies の相談会に来てみてください。お願いします。
So moving on to the next slide, I would like to hand over to our club leader, Annie, to continue. So Annie, onegaishimasu.
Yeah, thank you. So for this is things that you can do within like at APU or around you. But if you want to seek out further help, we also have some recommendations, some social media website you can follow or websites for like Headspace, which is also an app that you can download on your phone. And there are also lifeline support. However, if you are in Japan, we highly recommend this website, which is TEL. TEL is an international organization that provides a lot of health and support for mental health and mental illness. You can actually also reserve their consultation, whether about bullying or domestic violence as well. So definitely check it out. And the service is actually in English. Or if you also want to support them, you can also donate. We will share this slide later because we think this is a very helpful slide.
さっき話した内容はこの APU でできることとか、この身近でできることだったんですけど、それ以外の助けが必要だったら、ここに書かれてある SNS とかウェブサイトがおすすめらしいです。インターネーショナルって書かれてあるところは国際で、下のジャパンに書かれてあるのが日本にいる方たち向けのサービスらしくいいんですけど、これも英語でできるので、皆さんぜひやってみてください。
And finally, this is what we want to wrap up our today's session with. Whether you are a victim of bullying or you are a bystander, or even if you are sometimes unintentionally the bully, I think there are actually a lot of things that you can do. For example, you are the victim, try to think about how you can support yourself, if you should reach out, or if who can you go to if you are in trouble, you can trust that person. If you are a bystander, what would you do in that case? Put yourself in the person's shoe and try to see and evaluate what kind of actions you would take. And even if you are a bully, for example, think about why are you acting like this, or what is the motivation or the reason behind your actions and thinking. And based on that, we hope that you can decide what you should do next. But in any case, in a world where you can be anything, why not be kind and be there for other people? So why not be a buddy and not a bully?
それでは今日のセッション、イベントをまとめたいと思うんですけど、このピアバディならブリっていうのが、バディになれ、いじめる側ではなくっていうので、自分が被害者であれ、傍観者であれ、加害者側であれ、今からでも取れる行動はいくらでもあって、もしあなたが被害者であったら、怖いけど、そのまんまやられてるだけでなく、この立ち上がって、今自分のために何ができるか、どこに助けを求めることができるのか、そういう勇気を持つことが大事です。もし傍観者であるなら、ただそこに立っているだけじゃなく、その被害者を助けるために何ができるのか、どういう行動を取ればいいのかを考えてみてください。最後に、あなたが加害者、いじめる側であっても、もしあなたがいじめる側であっても、なぜ私がこういう行動をとっているのかとか、原因の中で自分が苦しんでるからこそ人をいじめてるのではないかみたいなことを考えてみて、もしそうであれば他人に助けを求めててください。
Yeah, so that's from our side, but we are actually want to listen to professors as well. So if you have any kind of wrap-up words or anything you want our participants to take home today, would you like to share?
This thing is simple but complicated, bullying. So all I want to say is acknowledge or recognize in your gut, in your mind, in your heart, if you feel uncomfortable about someone's behavior towards you or towards anybody else in your circle, your friend or your professor or whoever might be, probably there's something wrong there. So if you feel uncomfortable by any such behavior, if it's towards you or towards other people surrounding you, probably investigate, because that means there's something that isn't right about the power relationships between you. And trust that. Don't simply let it go. If you feel uncomfortable, speak to someone you trust, as the people here pointed out. If you feel it's regarding somebody else, also speak out. Don't hold back. We have to work together to stop this. When good people do nothing, that's when things go wrong. So when good people do good things, we can make it right. So thank you very much for this opportunity. I love your slogan, be a buddy, not a bully. So yeah, very nice. Thank you.
はい。先生、教授が言うには、やっぱりいじめっていうのはすごく簡単そうに見えて、でも、ね、根っこからするととっても難しい、問題で、Sorry, I'm having a brain fart. Hold on.
That's fine. I think I said something to, if you feel, trust yourself, trust your gut.
Yes.
はい。
はい。何かおかしいなって思ったとき、少しでも大きくても、何かおかしいなって思ったときは、絶対に確実に何かがおかしいから、教授でも授業でも友達、それは本当に友達じゃないかもしれないけど、それが何かおかしいなって思ったことは、もうこの人間が感じる感、自分の感を信じて、それに対して声を上げるのが正解だと思います。で、このね、Be a buddy, I said be a bully, oh my goodness. Be a buddy, not a bully っていうスローガンはとても分かりやすいスローガン、とても分かりやすいスローガンで、やっぱり まあこの世界には悪い人たちだけではないので、いい人たちがいい目的で助け合えば、最終的にはとてもこのいじめに、立ち向かっていけるので、そのモチベーションを忘れないで頑張っていけたらなと思います。
Yes, thank you, Sakura, so much. And yeah, thank you everyone for coming. We have finally reached the end of today's session. We hope that you have been able to think and then listen to other people's perspective, because it's really important not only to say how we feel, but also to put ourselves in other people's shoes and listen to how they're feeling. So we really hope that you enjoy today's session. And yeah, if you can take a bit of your time to give us a feedback, you can scan the code here. Oh, and yeah, our member has sent the form in the link as well. So if you want to fill it out, it will be really helpful for us for our future events.
それでは今日のイベントはこれで以上になります。皆さんが来てくださって、いろんな方たちといろんな意見を聞いたり、自分の経験談とか、自分の考えていることを話し合って、いろんな、なんて言うんだろう、大事なものを今日このイベントで得られてたらよかったと思います。で、こちらがフィードバックフォームになります。これを作成していただけたらなと思います。
Yeah, so once again, thank you everyone for joining today, and thank you, Professor, for coming not only as a professor but also as a discussant. And I feel like, yeah, we hope that you had a great time today.
Thank you so much. I did. It's really insightful.
Yeah, so yeah, thank you everyone for coming today. We hope to see you again in our future events.